action on the Fox Sports app.
What ball's Virginia in this year?
The Belk Bowl.
Belk Bowl.
Yeah.
One of the classics.
Not too. Really? That's what we do. That's
Back
what we do.
here with Chris Canty.
One of the classics.
God from Syracuse trolling Virginia football?
Hey, Canty, remember when it seemed like a lock that Tom Brady would play till he was 45? That's what the five-time Super Bowl champ told us this past summer. But with a rumored MCL injury, an arm that seems to be deteriorating, and just a week left in a season surrounded by question marks, looks like Father Time might just be catching up to Tom Brady. But if you ask the 41-year-old, there's no question he'll be back in 2019.
I absolutely believe I will. I know I've talked about it for a long time. You know, I have goals to play not only next year, but beyond that. And I'm going to try to do it as best I possibly can. I'm going to give it everything I have, like I always have. It'll certainly be a challenge. I don't take any of these things for granted, but I hope I can keep playing. I hope I can keep playing at a championship level. I'm feeling really good, Jim. It's been 15 weeks of football, and there's always bumps and bruises you deal with. But I'm feeling great for this time of year. I'll take it every year to be feeling as good as I am at this time in the season.
All right, Chris Canty, what do you think about what Tom Brady had to say?
Well, I think he will be the quarterback for the Patriots in 2019, and I think that has a lot to do with the organization not having a definitively better option. I mean, when they traded away Jimmy Garoppolo last year, I think that came with the assurance that Tom Brady would be the quarterback for several more seasons. And I understand this offense has been inconsistent at times this year, but I think we do this thing where we judge Tom Brady based off the standard that he created for himself, which is a very high standard. If you look at his numbers, I mean, 4,100 yards passing, 65% completion percentage, 25 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. And if you look at the 2 picks that he threw last week, I can't put those 2 interceptions on him.
The first one you kind of, the second one definitely not his fault.
I can't do that. The Rex Burkhead on the angle route, it looks like Burkhead breaks out and he throws it to where he thinks Burkhead is going to be in the middle of the field. Exactly.
No, you make a good point.
I don't know if that was a miscommunication between Burkhead and Brady. I don't know if I can put that on him. And then the Gronkowski one.
The second one definitely
that's definitely not on him. I don't know how many of the mistakes that we've seen from Tom Brady are actually on the quarterback versus what's been going on around him, because he's had a lot of guys on that offense, skill position on the offensive line that have been in and out of the lineup. So when you don't have that continuity, you are going to have some inconsistency at the quarterback play. But when you look at this offense overall, I mean, it's still a top 10 scoring offense. I mean, it's still a top 10 yardage offense. So, I mean, they've still been able to move the ball. I think a lot of the struggles from the Patriots have to do with the deficiencies on the talent level, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. So it all has to be complementary. And I know this doesn't look like the Patriots team that we've seen in years past, but I can't put all of that on Tom Brady.
A lot of it has to do on, we talk about it all the time, since the spring, they've had 33 different wide receivers either try out for the team or be on the roster. So that right there lets you know. We know that Nate Solder, let's not forget, we lost him at left tackle. He's been with Brady almost forever, all right? We know that they've had some other issues on that offensive line. Let's look at all their other players. Their number 1 wide receiver, Josh Gordon, out of the league that they got on a retread from Cleveland. Edelman, their best slot receiver. Oh, he started the game, suspended 4 games with PEDs. He's not having a career year. Their number 1 receiver in Gronk. Oh, he's not having a career year. Sony Michel, he's a breath of fresh air. But James White, he's been consistent. He's been, you know, the versatile back that Cordell Patterson. I mean, he's a Swiss Army knife. He's outside. He's in the slot. He's playing tailback. But look at the people around Tom Brady. And my last example is, look at the last 5 MVPs. To you, what you said. Tom Brady has created a standard that's not fair unto himself. But all the last 5 MVP quarterbacks, look at the year after they were MVP, and they are having years similar to what Tom Brady or worse.
So Brady, Ryan, Newton, Rodgers, Manning, I think are the last 5.
Yeah, look up their numbers after that, because Tom Brady was the MVP in 2017.
The only distinction that I would draw there is the last 2 prior to Brady, those guys had their MVP years where they were way above their skis as far as what their career had been. Brady last year, it was a really, really good year by him, but not an atypical Tom Brady year. Like last year was more similar to what the previous 5 years had been than this year had been. I think everything can be true. that, of course, he's damaged by the fact that Gronk is no longer, forget the best tight end in football. That is gone. He's right now, you're wondering, how is he with the 5th best tight end? Is he an above average tight end at the moment, aside from what he does blocking? The fact that their #1 wide receiver at any point was Josh Gordon, who started the year on the Browns, speaks to the overall deficiency at the position. That they need a rookie running back to be the breath of fresh air speaks to the deficiency there after losing Deion Lewis. All of these things. That's all true, and it's also true that, just to my eye, and I think to most people's eyes, Tom Brady is entering a different part of his career. And will he still be in this part in 2019? It would be good news for him. It would be good news for him if this is just the level he can maintain for the next year. Because at this point, it's not about getting back to MVP level for Brady. It's about preventing the deterioration. It's about, because right now Brady is good enough for you, with a good enough team around him, to go to or win a Super Bowl. Brady's not a detriment to the Patriots, but what he's no longer able to be is the cure-all. He's no longer able to be a guy that can be the fixer for them the way he could be at his apex.
Well, is it fair to say that he can fix it, but look at the personnel around him? Yeah, Tom Brady, we give him all the credit. But look at the talent that he was able to go to, as far as no questions as far as the offensive line. A consistent running game. And let's not forget Bill Belichick, what he does with that defense that creates turnovers, plays good red zone defense. Their kicking game, always one of the best in the league. You never have any questions about that. So Tom Brady, look what he's got to go to now compared to what he was going to before. I think it's substantially different. The talent level that Tom Brady was playing with compared to who he's playing with now.
But if you give Tom Brady some of these weapons back, if you get him a wide receiver, if you get him someone who could play tight end, maybe that's not Gronk, if you shore up that defense a little bit, is this, the way he's playing now, good enough to get them back here again next year?
Well, I think they're right on the doorstep of being able to secure a first-round bye in the playoffs and the 2nd overall seed in the AFC. So, I mean, I think that Tom Brady has proven that playing at this level can lead to team success. But my question is, what are the Patriots going to do after 2019? Because this is the last year of his contract going into 2019. So are you going to commit to a quarterback beyond that, to a guy that might be 43 years old? I mean, at what point do you start thinking about a real succession plan? Because you traded away your succession plan last year. So the organization has got to find a future franchise quarterback. Tom Brady's their guy for the next couple of years, but they've got to figure out what they're going to do beyond 2019.
And the one consensus heading into the draft was, by everybody on this show and every show I saw, was, well, obviously at some point in the first 3 rounds, Patriots are going to draft a quarterback. Like, we knew that. They had the extra pick from trading away Jimmy G. They had the pick from trading away Brandon Cooks, and they didn't. And so the succession plan, we don't know who that person is. We don't know if it's a guy that's currently in the NFL that they are going to try to bring in as a better than Brian Hoyer backup, or if it's a guy currently in college football. I think that what's true is the Patriots are still good, and Tom Brady's still good, but that is jarring. That they're good and not the class of the league, the overwhelming favorites as they've been the last few years.
All right. Chris Kenny, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Enjoy the
time with your family. Coming up, are Katie's criticisms of LeBron warranted? Next on First Things First.
What bowl is Ohio State in? It's like the Belk Bowl.
Talking a lot of cash money, Nick. Put a jersey on. Put a jersey on.
Wow. Bro, you got to get your family